Hello, Mike. Thank you very much for your time this evening. This is the Better Players, Better People podcast. Hopefully you've been tuning in. You know what it's about. It's aimed at parents, students, teachers, principals. Probably my family have watched most of the episodes more than anyone else. But it's just an opportunity to sit down with someone who's lived and breathed it and talk through all things youth sport. Obviously, you've got the youth sport arm, but I just want to start with this. I don't think anyone's been on the podcast who's won as much as you have, obviously with the Canes and so on. So well done.
Thank you very much.
My first question is always just let's share a little bit about your background. Tell me a little bit about yourself so people know who you are and what you've been up to.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me on the podcast. So sport was literally from birth a huge influence in my life. It was literally just during the summer when we were away. My mum was talking about how other kids would be trying to read books, play games, fight with the brothers or whatever, and if I wasn't allowed to go and do it myself, I was watching it. She said she would come down and sometimes in the middle of the night and I'd be watching football in a country that she's never even heard of before. And that's when I was really little. It's always been so important to me, and it's helped shape my life, not just in stages, but my entire life, even still to current day. In particular, obviously, so I played everything I could get my hands on.
I've just found out you played basketball.
I played, when I was a lot younger, and I was in a school that was partnered with Manchester United. Their education was so academy boys, big names, Kieran Richardson, John O'Shea, in that kind of era, Darren Fletcher, etc. They were in the school, so football was a high priority, and I loved playing football non-stop. It was always. I was waiting for Sir Alex to give me a call, and it never happened, unfortunately. But basketball in Trafford, where I'm from at that time, really picked up. And maybe a question you're going to ask me in a bit. I had a really influential teacher. For some reason, he saw a core group of boys that just had athletic capability, hunger to succeed in sport, and he pushed basketball. And we went on to, the first year we entered it, we lost in the English schools final to Helsby College, which you probably know. And then the year after we won. In that time, one boy played fully for England, 5 of us played for North of England, and about 8 of us out of the squad of 10 played National League. So we were an unbelievable team that just had an amazing run. And the interesting thing about that team was like the difference in strengths. Like I was 15, and it was already clear that I was never going to be 6 foot. I was a 5'9", 10, dumpy but quick kind of kid. I knew what my strengths were and where my attributes were meant to be in that team. And the monsters and the giants that was around me, they had their jobs, which are obviously a lot more normal than standing in a basketball court or in a basketball game. But then rugby kind of took off, and I was very fortunate to receive a scholarship to Sedbergh School. Arguably the strongest rugby school in the UK, definitely in England still. There might be some people from other independent schools that will be disagreeing with that. And that completely transformed my life. Academically and most certainly rugby, exposure to travel, meeting people from different classes, different parts of the country, etc. And then, that sort of changed everything about rugby and sport being at a higher level, and led to some really big successes, both as a team and individually. Shaped where I went at university, shaped where I went and where I am today, basically.
You've brushed over a few things there. You've probably been modest about what you've done and achieved. Which mic?
Yeah.
I did think that.
No, yeah,
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know if you meant move me there or...
He did
Sorry.
say he'd done podcasts before, but Kareem didn't do that, did he?
I'm modest. You know I'm modest. That's
Let's go on that, because first of all, 2 things.
Yep.
The teacher that put the basketball team together.
Yep.
What you've just said it off camera. What did the teacher say to you? I think it might have been when they finished, or years later. You said the teacher had made a comment to you.
Yeah.
You still remember it?
I still remember it now.
Can you share that?
Yeah. He said to me years afterwards, I think we were probably all in our mid-20s, we met, and he said to me the team would not have been as successful, or what his exact words were, we wouldn't have had the success if you wouldn't have been a part of that team. And I looked at him, and again, these 6 foot monsters and these absolute, at that age, unbelievably talented basketball players. And he was like, you just brought that DNA that we needed. You know, you were always the first one in the gym. You didn't cut a session, and it was the physicality that the team kind of missed. My job on that basketball team was to cut to the basket, influence defenders, try and, box out often, make screens. It wasn't to score the 3-pointers.
But without taking too much away from your skills, it was the attitude.
Yeah.
It was the brilliant basics, which I think from watching you from afar and close up as well, is probably what you've took into your career. Would that be a fair comment in terms of how you operated in the schools you've worked at, and maybe now the industry you've moved into? The attitude's right, the non-negotiables are there. You know, you arrive on time, you're professional, you work hard. Is that something that you took from sport, or maybe underplaying it?
No, you're completely right, but I can't say it's genetic, but it's definitely inherited. The work ethic that's come from my parents.
Yeah.
And whilst they could never, ever talk to me about anything to do with sport, which is you'll find that quite surprising. Dad played a little bit of cricket, but nothing special. It was those characteristics of not being late, working hard, making sure you thank those people that are giving up their time, tidying up after yourself, and being gracious, whether that's victory, defeat, whatever. All of them things. But a lot of that was, for me, it was easy because it was just constantly around my house, constantly. And am I still trying to do it today? Absolutely. You know, you're a director of sport now. I've been was involved for teaching for 16 years. First person in. I mean, sometimes I had children, it sort of wheezed off a little bit, but last person out. That kind of mentality, doing the things that you have to ask others to do if you're not being seen to do it, blowing up balls, picking up cones, sweeping the sheds, that sort of stuff.
What was the teacher's name who had you for basketball?
His name is Mr. Stevenson.
Mr. Stevens.
Yeah, Mr. Stevenson.
He might see it. He might.
Maybe so. Yeah.
I do want to share, because I shared a story off camera in terms of, I just thought it was really interesting that you brought that up, and what he'd said to you. He made a comment. Like, teachers made comments to kids, you know, you'd have went through 20 years of education, but you remember that comment. Mm-hmm. So I just want to share the training that we did with our PE team at the start of this year. I had quite a limited time at the PE team around other inset sessions, and I told the story about two teachers at my school. Mr. Gidman was a maths teacher. I want to say militant, but he drilled the maths into us, and I did really well in maths. And I had one of the PE teachers we had. It was quite a successful sports school. Davy Howarth was his name. Mr. Howarth was a teacher. I was middle of the pack, and this is what I said. This is the story I told my PE team. I was middle of the pack. I wasn't great at any sport. I wasn't rubbish. I was kind of in the middle. But he always believed in me. And I always remember him giving me a chance in teams and little well dones and things like that. That had a big impact on me. And I don't know if that did shape where I went with my career. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. The story was used as part of a training. I asked the staff to stand up, and I went through the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. I asked the staff to sit down. When we got to the number of staff that had that impact on them. Everyone's got teachers they look back on in their school time. Mm-hmm. And I was not shocked. I kind of expected this, but the whole team of 15, was sat down by 4 or 5. And the point I was making there is we'll have about 50 staff teach every kid in their education time. It's probably more in the UAE because it's so transient. You probably add into the mix there the coaches they come across as well. It's a lot of adults. To look back and only have 2 or 3 is not shocking. I think that's just the way it is, probably. But the message to the PE team, certainly my PE team, was try and be in that 1 or 2 that kids in the future look back on and go, actually, do you know what? I had a good relationship there. He believed in me, and so on. So I want to share that.
Yeah, it's a good exercise. And the thing is, it's something that's had a profound impact. That's the second member of staff that I think of. I've literally said it. I've left 2 schools, and in both leaving speeches, I've said the same thing, and it's what he said to me. I was 15 years of age. I was on the bench in my second game. For the first game, I was about to play for Sedbergh, and literally, he's called my name, run over to the sideline. I've gone up to him, taken my jacket off, and he's gone, straight in the eyes, make an impact. And he just paused, and I went, and he went, no. Looked at me dead square in the eyes, make an impact. And it's something that's still with me today, whatever job I'm doing. whatever team I might be working with, or if I'm going into a new project or whatever. It's like, right, where can you make an impact here? And that might not be being the face or being the hands-on. You've got to be strategic with these things, because as you'll know, Jay, you take on more than you can chew sometimes in certain positions, and with experience, it's like, do you know what, it's time to delegate and give someone else their time to learn and shine, etc.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful, and it's powerful. We'll say things to kids so quick and off the cuff, and not realise that 20 years down the line, Mike Wernham working in the UAE remembers making Impact Day.
Yeah,
and I think that's so powerful for coaches, teachers, anyone working with young children now, or young adults, or whatever in teams. Little comments can be amazingly powerful.
And the flip side, like, you've also got to be careful what you say.
Yeah.
Because that bad habit, that bad trait of what you're trying to instill or empower, like that, it could be a negative, whether it's on the personality, the performance, whatever it might be. Like, as the coach on that day, when you've got them for however long that your session is, if you've got the right group of children in front of you, every single word is going to be potentially repeated or instilled for a long time. You've got to be careful. And I don't mean just to protect yourself. I mean more so for the impact it's going to have on that kid.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's a tough game teaching.
Absolutely.
Before we get into team skills, and I did mention this to you in the calls this week, one thing I'd love to get to is your ability at developing, forming, working with teams, and how you operate, and what, things that you might do. Before we get into that, let's talk a little bit more about your journey, because I know you've left teaching now. Have you managed to sit down and reflect over the summer on what that was like? And obviously you plan for the future. You can maybe talk about what's next for you.
Yeah.
If you want to share why you left teaching, or was it just an opportunity came up? But let's get on to that part of it, the end of the teaching career.
Yeah, so I'd been teaching since I was 16, and the one thing I haven't said, I've been coaching since I was 13. Going back to that teacher again, he got me involved from coaching with the younger age groups from there. So I've always had this involvement of working within teams and coaching, and then the 16 years in school. Why have I left teaching? The first honest answer that I can give is, for too long, I've been bringing up other people's kids and selfishly missing my own children. My lifestyle right now is completely different. I'm getting to wake up, make snack boxes, have lunch, make breakfast, sit, laugh, get them ready, and then go and exercise, and then start the day. Whereas, as you know, in particular for 12 years, I've been sat at the desk at 6:15, and on 2-3 times a week, you're not getting home until 9-10 o'clock because of my other job. Other reason, it's getting harder and harder, the job. And I genuinely, I've said it for a while, mostly on deaf ears, I think. But the appreciation for what the role actually needs is very, very different than, I'm not going to say in other parts of the world, but it's very different than what the job used to be. There's so many more strands, not just to teaching, but being a director of sport. And I still don't think, in particular, I'll say it, I don't think senior leadership has caught up to that fact yet. Not in every school anyway, not in some of the schools that I've worked with. PE, sport, is so important to a lot of people. I said it and I got told off for it in one of my former schools. When everyone talks in this day and age about the importance of academic and prowess and how important grades are, etc. Yeah, it's true. It is true. Yeah. But without this subject, you will die.
Yeah.
You can't say that. It's true. If they're not physically being active, if they're not recreating, I can say play sport, but it doesn't matter about the sport element. But if they're not engaged in physical activity and they don't have the knowledge of it, then what's going to happen? Yeah. So that's a part of the reason. Other element, opportunity. Yeah. I've been thinking about it for a little while, to be honest with you, but I'm now working as business development manager for J2O, which is a part of the TWEDx group. The phone call and then the meetings, etc. I was thinking about it before I accepted the job, and everyone has to do this at times and sort of say to yourself, what's the best part of your job? What's the most exciting bit? And as you will know, as a director of sport, them exciting parts sort of get less and less. But I was thinking about it and I did do some reflection, and I thought, you know what? Kit day at the start of each term, or watching a kid put on that first 15 shirt, or their first secondary school PE kit, seeing their faces, that still means a lot to me. And the second part, when I was reflecting, was where's your most memories? And it's definitely from tours. It's definitely from when I remember 18 years of age. We went to Australia and New Zealand, and I've still got lifelong memories for it. And since then, as a member of staff, the trips that me and my colleagues have been able to put together and the experiences that we've enabled people, young people, to be exposed to. And yeah, we can talk about the level of competition and what they've been able to do on these trips and tours, but the friendships, until you really are away and mobile phones are taken off you at night time and meet times are set and forced interaction, that's when you really get to know someone. And then you see them, you set them up with a challenge that doesn't involve technology. And that's where you're really pulling out that extra little bit where it's quite hard to do in a limited period of time when you've got a training session or a class lesson or something like that. So the TWEDx group, in particular, I'm involved in the kit apparel. The company does sports tours, and the third section is pretty major events, major sporting events. Yeah. So far, it's still early days, but I'm really enjoying it. It's given me a bit of a better lifestyle, which was something I needed, but certainly keeping me busy and learning new things. Yeah. That's what I needed. I personally needed that.
There's a few things there that you've said that, first of all, the role of the director of sport and the teaching, I think absolutely. I don't want to say it changes every year, but the battle, I've got to be careful with the words we use here. I think every head of sport, every head of PE, director of sport, feels the need to protect their subject. Probably the same as a head of department for maths, DT, everyone who's doing the job passionately, which, by the way, is uber important. If you've got a school full of people who are passionate about their subject, it might cause a bit of friction and a bit of debate, but the benefit would be for the students there because they'll have people in the place who are driving their subject. But I do think you do have to fly the flag for PE. You do, because a lot of schools will be driven by academic outcomes, which is, you're not going to get away from that now. Yep. Don't know if that will change in the future, but you're certainly not getting away from that now. There is schools who will jump on the not the bandwagon, but they'll promote and celebrate the sport equally. Mm-hmm. It seems equally anyway, which is fantastic. But it is definitely something that you need to be aware of and you need to manage. You need to push that and make sure the importance of physical education, activity, play, and sport is pushed. Hence this forum. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing it. I want people to know the nuances about it, the factors relating to it, and so on. So that's that. The second thing you mentioned there about the change in career. Yeah. I think for people, we have a lot of staff who want to come from the UK. For whatever reason, the UK, in terms of teaching and demands and so on, the lifestyle that the UAE has afforded us, I don't know many people in the world who could do what you've done in terms of almost reach the pinnacle of the department and subject and have an opportunity that you've got, because it's amazing. I think I'd love to have Scotty and Cookie on, because I don't know if people know just how much impact they've got. I think if in terms of school sport here in the city, certainly the region with the BSME, they've probably touched thousands of kids in terms of what they do. Yeah. You're talking about the kit and the tours. That again is huge. So I think that's really cool for people to hear. In the UAE, there's these opportunities that do exist.
Yeah, and listen, it doesn't happen overnight. These things take... I've been here for 12 years. With my association with the rugby club as well, the interactions, people who you meet. Yeah, you can go for a coffee, but that doesn't automatically mean that something's going to happen. You've then got to show a genuine interest, like with any trade, with any job. But networking is so important. And I kind of... A big part of my job in my last few years of teaching was raising sponsorship, because it's a difficult place to be. It's not everyone is on that big gravy train that everyone thinks that they are. And when you're trying to give more opportunities and you're trying to take people here, there and everywhere, families need help. You know, it's a very, very different country than what it used to be. So by bringing in sponsorship, it enables kids and trips to go ahead, to go and do more things. And it's part, like the trips element in particular, and something that TWEDx do so well. Without that, I just don't see, we're talking about youth sport earlier, I don't see where youth sport can keep going. the pool that's here, in particular when you're looking at the top teams, the top schools, the top clubs, it's such a small pool. So without them opportunities, the kids' development is really, really reducing chance to. So it's important that they keep going.
Yeah. Let's get on to teamwork skills.
Yeah.
And I kind of messaged you last week about this, and the question would be, do you believe we're teaching teamwork skills enough? Is it part of the makeup of a sports session? Obviously, you've got a fantastic background in developing strong teams, successful teams. So where do you stand on, and you've seen it in education, you've also seen it in the sport you're doing with the Canes and the rugby. Do we teach enough teamwork skills?
Right. So my opinion of this, which any opinion that you give, there's going to be people that'll see this and they'll say, what's he talking about? Like, that's completely, this is my opinion. We teach quite a lot of it, but we don't teach it very well. Like, the majority of you've done enough inset days, you've probably done more than me. A school's team building exercise will be go into the sports hall, throw out all the equipment, make something, go from one end of the sports hall on mats or something like that. That's not building a team, not a sustainable team. Because what have I actually learnt from there? Well, you've probably found your alpha male or your extroverts, because they've come up with the ideas first and foremost. But let's say the introvert on the other side of the mat who's just going along with it. What have I learnt about her? What strengths has she got? What? And again, we do these things, but how much time do we actually go back into it? It's something that I keep saying inset or school things. I've seen it in other avenues as well, where it's like, I have this quote that I've learned over time. It's developed more and more, and I've got my own flip to it. But speed beats structure in matches. Speed beats structure in gameplay. Structure beats speed in practice. Structure beats speed in preparation. You have to plan these things out. You have to actually think, like with any team, what's the goal? Where do we want to go? What do we want to do? But please notice there, in my opinion, the thing that I've said there is we. You gave me a lovely, very kind intro about my success. It's not my success. Like, yeah, positions that I've had of responsibility, I've done very well to recruit some outstanding individuals and made them come in to a good environment and make it even better. It can't be one person's goal on a team. There's no I in team, that old terrible cliche. But you need that buy-in, that element that comes with it. But you need to make sure that if it is a team, that everyone's got their chance. And if they're not comfortable to speak public, that's fine. Pull them to the side. Still, what's your opinion? But that structure, rather than racing through, again, structure beats speed. What are you trying to get to? How can we do it? Have we got it? No. Okay, let's squash it. Let's go back again. Where are we trying to get to? And again, it's something. I was literally on a phone call yesterday. People talking about success. And I've said this all the time, and we bang on about winning, and we bang on about seeing successful results. What is success? Well, it depends on your team. It depends on the age. Who you're talking about here. At this time, I was talking to a mini and youth coach. And I don't know how long we've got. My frustrations kept going and going, and I was like, I just wish.
We can check. How long have we got? How long have we got? 25. So we've got 5 minutes. Did you stop that there? You need to stop that. That's okay. Okay, 5 minutes.
Do you want me to go?
Keep going, mate.
So the conversation was going on about success of results and winning leagues. And the conversation just kept going. And my frustration, something that had been coming up for a little while now. And I was like, do you know what, X? If it was my choice, I wouldn't even have a bloody league. And his eyes just pulled up. And he was like, I can't believe you'd say that. I said, but it's the same thing like I've said to parents in the past as well. Children, parents, all look at permutations. They all look at specific results and who needs to beat who at a competition rather than what's the last thing that they've looked at. It's too much of this sideways looking, and that for me is, again, it's about player development. You're not enabling that. So why are we doing this? Again, the conversation went further, and I was like, I would genuinely start leagues at under 14s if it needs to be, and there's still that big demand because it's still so early in their development. I didn't start playing rugby properly till I was 13. Properly. I was doing all the other sports of whatever else was going on. Some people will disagree with me. Again, that's fine. I've been doing this for quite a long time in the UAE now. It causes a lot of headaches for the rugby leaders, shall we say, called the RCC, permutations and the ifs, buts and maybes. It still doesn't take away the element of why you love the game. You're still playing. Yeah. There's still a winner at the end of the game, or draw, obviously, and there's a loser. There's still them things, but it's not just that. You've seen it yourself, Joe. You go to a tournament. We've got to win this game by 7 goals. How's that making that opposition feel?
Yeah,
there's a mercy rule, not in a competition like that. Yeah. That's out the window. Are we doing a disservice to our kids?
If Mike Wernham was in charge of all youth sport in the world, we'd eradicate leagues under 14s. Are we right with that?
I wouldn't say in all of the world. I think there's a different element of pressure that comes here.
Yeah.
As you know, and I've heard you say on previous times, this element of pay to play. And I think that because there is so much sport, so many trophies and medals of all shapes and sizes that are given, which I disagree with. Call me old school, maybe. I just think that we're moving away from why we started playing sport. We're moving more and more towards it's about that shiny thing at the end. It's about that W medal. And the biggest heartbreak for me is when a kid leaves school, or 18, and boy or girl has played rugby since year 2 and gone the whole way through. They go to university, they come back at Easter term. How's the rugby trials? Oh, no, I didn't get in. Yeah. Have you found a club? No, I'm not going to play anymore. What?
Too much too soon.
Absolutely.
Too serious too soon.
And in this bubble.
Yeah.
In this bubble that they're in.
Before we finish, I want to go back to this, and we could probably do another conversation on this. What I heard from you in terms of how you operate as a leader. Mm-hmm. And it's nice that you say that the other people are with you and you've got a team around you. But it's almost that quote, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Yeah. I think that would probably summarise how you operate. Would that be fair?
100%. Because at the end of the day, the position and the sport in particular of which I'm involved in, it's not a one-man band. You learn it all along. If you go out of a defensive line individually, you leave a gap. Yeah. Everyone knows whose fault it was. So if we all make that decision together and it goes Pete Tong, well, do you know what? We collectively made that decision. As you know, sometimes someone's got to make a final call. And you have to put your neck on the block, and it goes right, you're a hero. It goes wrong, they'll be there even faster and let you know. It's part of anyone's leadership, isn't it? But I think collectively, for me, within a team setting, and this can be departments, business, this can be within a team structure of any age group that's there, as long as it's clear from the start for everyone that's a part of the group what the collective is, what we've all agreed upon. And someone might have disagreed with it, and no one's been convinced or had their arm bent behind their back to believe in it. If we've all agreed to get to that, then we've set our standard already. Now we can't dip below that. We know what we want to get to. We've already targeted how we're going to get there. If anyone dips, that's one paddle that's out of that canoe. That's not going to get us in the right direction.
Well, Mike, I can see why you've had so much success, mate. And thank you so much. I think we could probably continue this maybe another time.
Yeah, I'd love to.
But listen, wishing you all the best in your new role. I'm really excited for you. I've followed your career. I know the family well, so I'm really pleased that you're in a good place. And let's do this another time, because I think we've got a lot more to discuss. We haven't even touched on the rugby right now, and I know we talked about that beforehand. But Mike, thank you so much.
Great to see you. Great pod. Some unbelievable guests, and hopefully I've got somewhere near them.
Nice one, mate. Thank you.
Cheers.